Thank you for joining us. Please enjoy this video from Father Plant.
So this Sunday, we are going to be dressed in rose. The priest will be in rose vestments. We're also going to light the rose candle. And why are we doing all of that? That's because this coming Sunday, the third Sunday of Advent, is the Sunday of joy. It's called Gaudete Sunday, which means to rejoice. So what is joy? Well, a common definition for joy would be to be in a state of pleasure and happiness. And that might be an okay definition if we're talking about just the general sense of what joy is. And that's certainly what we would say about worldly joy. But the spiritual joy that we're talking about on Gaudete Sunday goes far deeper than that. You see, worldly joy depends on the circumstances of our lives. If things are going well, we're naturally joyful. If they're not, we're not naturally joyful. And so it's not very steadfast. But spiritual joy, it depends, it's connected on faith in Jesus Christ. And as long as the faith is steadfast, the joy is steadfast. I also would like to say that we can get to know what joy is all about by focusing on certain constellation of graces that surround joy so that we can really get a sense of whether or not we are rejoicing. The first grace I want to mention is patience. Patience. What is patience? It is to wait in a tranquil state for a certain outcome. To wait in tranquility for a certain outcome. And patience flows from joy. And that's because joy gives us the energy to actually wait for that outcome. And what's the outcome we're talking about? Well, we're really talking about the second coming of Jesus Christ, or the time in which we will ourselves be before Jesus Christ at our own personal judgment. And patience also leads to joy. And that's because patience brings us that tranquility that opens up the way for us to experience the pleasure and happiness in that same tranquility waiting for Jesus Christ. Another grace that we can look at that surrounds the grace of joy is that of recognizing the extraordinary in the ordinary. And that's especially when it comes to recognizing the extraordinary in people. People that look ordinary to us, but because joy helps us to pierce a deeper reality, we're able to see their extraordinary nature. You can put it like as if we're looking at other people in the whole world with rose-colored glasses. Now, typically to say rose-colored glasses, to say that somebody sees the world in rose-colored glasses, is a way of expressing that that person is just deceiving themselves, right? They're delusional. They're looking at the world in a way that is not realistic. But the opposite is true for those who look at the world with spiritual rose-colored glasses, especially when looking at other people. And the reason why we can look at people and see something extraordinary in them is not just because of perhaps some extraordinary gifts they might have naturally speaking, or they accomplish extraordinary things, but also because of their spiritual nature, that deep spiritual dynamism within them, particularly of the soul. And we can see in that extraordinary characteristic of the soul their potential to be saints and to do marvelous things for the Lord in great faith, hope, and love. There is a saying that if we could see the soul in all of its splendor, we would actually die with joy. And finally, the grace to be able to see that which is to come in the future through the signs that we have now. What I'm referring to, of course, is the sacraments. To be able to look at the signs of the sacraments around us and to get a deeper sense of what is to come in heaven. St. Paul would say that it has not even dawned on us what God has in store for those who love Him. And yet at the same time, the Lord gives us a pledge, a kind of down payment on the reality of heaven, the bliss of heaven through the signs of the sacraments. And that is especially true of the Eucharist. So that when we are receiving the Eucharist, the body and blood, soul and divinity of Jesus Christ, we are getting a taste of that joy here and now if we have the eyes of faith to see it. And this in turn gets us ready for heaven where there is everlasting joy. I hope that this reflection was helpful for you. My name is Father Christopher Plant, parochial vicar of St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church. God's blessings, peace, and joy remain upon you now and forever.